sight. But so do her enemies.
G'day. How you all going? Blue, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I had the wrong snare going on the mixer.
Mike sounds good. I was worried there when you said mic trouble that we could spend the first 10 minutes figuring this out.
No, I'm in channel 2 today, and you get the idea. So, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you for joining me. We had a bit of a, I don't know, it's been a weird morning. So much going on. Obviously, we talked a little bit about all the Dynamite stuff yesterday, and there was more to that this morning. Were you in you were in the Pontificators? Yeah, of course you were.
Yeah, I made a few jokes at the end, but yeah, I was trying to listen to that. Yeah,
and also before that, this was this morning. I was like 5 o'clock in the morning for me. I get up early and work because otherwise I don't get anything done.
Right.
I was listening to Oz's stream. And Ethan was in there with a bunch of people, and that was when all of the Dynamite books got taken down.
Oh, okay.
Did you know that happened? They all disappeared?
I saw that it happened, and I had to wonder, but then they all popped up again.
They all popped up. It was just, I don't know, I guess because they took something down or something got flagged, that they just took everyone's stuff down.
Okay, so
every campaign.
Do you understand who took them down? Was that Dynamite or Indiegogo?
I think it was Indiegogo. I think either they were flagged or there was some discrepancy or some terms of service thing, and every single Dynamite campaign got taken down for review.
Yeah, terms of service accusation.
Yeah. Hey, there's people here. We should say hello.
Oh, there are.
They're probably wondering what the hell I meant by calling it crotch shots and comic books, but we'll get to that. Frog G is here. He says, hello, how you going, buddy? Mo Biggs is riding my ass for being 8 seconds late. I nearly didn't start too because Blue wasn't there yet, but I thought, no, I can feel Mo. I said, I feel you in there lurking, Mo.
Why does he always ride your Cloacula?
It's the place to be. Antoine says, hello, gents. Hello, right back at you, buddy. Nerd is the word, says, g'day. That could be my new start. I don't know. Sometimes I like to mix it up. I don't know. I actually don't have any idea how to start it. I just go with whatever happens. Todd's Truth is here. Says, Hal, Michael. Hal, right back at you, Todd. Who else have we got here? Your response on my hello, gents, was timely, as I have hoped. Nice.
We got Todd's Truth. Hello, Mo Biggs. Hello, Antoine.
Shane's here. He says, g'day, Blue, Mo, and chat. Star Trek Original Series, a great episode. What's that in relation to?
Oh, I put up a trivia question because every time people say hail, which I'm not totally comfortable with myself, it just feels weird to me. But every time they say hail, I hear hail, hail, fire, and snow in my head, which is from, and so I looked it up, posted it up, and said, where'd this come from? Because I knew where it came from. But
I never watched the original series, and I just felt like I couldn't get into it after I was such a big Next Generation, Voyager, Deep Space Nine fan, and the Next Generation movies. I do like the original movies, but I'm not a huge fan, and I just couldn't get into the. I think it was just, too much time had elapsed.
See, for me, I wasn't in control of what was on TV or movies we watched, so it was just part of the household. Yeah, so I know all about Star Wars and just sort of okay.
Kids these days have no idea how good they have it.
Yeah.
What it used to. Pastmaster Dan says life has taken a turn into absurdity. It has in some cases, hasn't it? Oh, that is a great segue Before we're gonna talk some of our favorite comic books today, because we had a guest, they can't make it, and we thought, well, we still want to do a show, so we'll do something comic book related. Why not?
All right, that's a long-winded way of saying this is a filler episode. So
it is not a filler. How dare you? How dare you? Well, I thought, everyone's been talking the Dynamite thing ad nauseum. I mean, what are we going to add to it?
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of done and done now. Everyone's said their piece, and
besides, I did like 20 minutes of digging around and pulling things out that there's no way this is just filler. So. Good.
But we better not waste too much time. Camel Moon says, "What's up, players?" Apparently that's your opening. All right, I won't take that then. Skip Edwards is here. Says, "What's up, guys?" All right, I think. Oh, here's my boy Crackhead Hal, if I can chat. Crackhead was with me. Well, it wasn't with me. I mean, he was there. We were both there in the same place. Dan Frager just had a stream, and I popped on there for a little bit with my avatar. As you can see, I'm back home at the moment. Because I'm getting up early now, working early, I get a little bit extra time for lunch.
Oh, good.
I guess couldn't make it. No, it wasn't art. It wasn't art. But I wanted to play a video. This is completely unrelated, Blue. You have no idea what this is. Okay. But I came across this video this morning. It's on Twitter. It's got 3 million views. It's, I don't know, probably a little bit long to play on a stream, but it's every single moment of it is just gold. Okay. I just love it so much, and it's not anything that's going to get us struck. So I just wanted to play you this because, my goodness, it's hilarious.
Okay.
All right, here we go.
When me and Brad first met, I didn't think we'd get along, but turns out we kind of agree on everything. Your racial identity is the most important thing. Everything should be looked at through the lens of race.
Jinx, you owe me a code. We both have a lot of opinions about people of color, even though we barely know any.
I say colored people, but as long as we're classifying them, we both think minorities are a united group who think the same and act the same.
And vote the same. You don't want to lose your black card. Sorry, I don't know. I just think we should
roll back discrimination laws so we can hire based on race again. Jinx, now you owe me a code.
How true is
tell me
this?
You told me yesterday.
White actors should only do voices for white cartoon characters.
I've been saying that for years. Stick to your own.
Us white people, we have so much privilege.
I agree. Be white. Ask him about interracial dating.
All I said is black men who date white women have internalized racism, and white men that date ethnic women are fetishizing them.
Guys against interracial dating now. Like, am I being pranked? Did Boomer put you up to this?
Ugh, you know that taco place is white owned?
White people should be making white foods like Kraft macaroni and cheese, no seasoning, not even salt. It's like he's a mind reader. I mean, I've been pushing for segregation forever, and my man does what?
I created an improv comedy show exclusively for ethnic people.
Guy segregates comedy on my birthday.
White people need to stop wearing dreadlocks and they need to stop appropriating black people's music.
Shaved heads and country music, the way God intended.
You know all white people are racist.
I'm listening.
Even if you have a black wife or a black friend group, you're still really racist.
You know, we just kicked the guy out of the organization for having a black girlfriend, but if you can promise me he's still really racist, we'll consider letting him back in. Black people should only shop at black businesses.
I guess the only thing we really disagree about is I think white people are the root of all evil.
But what did I tell you, though? If we can narrow that down to a certain group of tiny-hatted white people, I think we can come to an understanding.
Technically, I don't consider Jewish people white.
Neither do I.
Wait, there's a little bit at the end too.
But we're still cool with interracial cucking, right?
Yeah, as long as you pay for it. Sex work should be celebrated.
I've seen it about 3 times now, and it's just as good the first time.
And how has that not been torn down from the internet for being the truth?
Well, it's very funny. You can go check that out. Actually, I'll tell you who the anyone, if you go onto my Twitter, I've retweeted it, but the guy is called Ryan Long Comedy, at Ryan Long Comedy. That thread, read it. Read the thread. It's just full of people saying, "Oh, this is strawmanning woke," and just giving excuses for why the discrimination and the focus on race is all for the greater good when they do it. It is just it is perfect. Yeah.
I'm gonna leave a search window open for Mark Dice. I'm sorry. If I could check that out later. Crackhead, thank you. Is it DYCE? Oh, DICE. Okay.
Yeah, his videos can be pretty good too. I love when he goes out onto the streets and just he does those. Well, I guess he's not doing them right now, but you know,
The
whenever he does that, people go out and they talk to people on the streets, and the only thing I think of is these people are voting.
frightening.
It is, isn't it? But anyway, that was a nice little distraction. What are we here for, Blue? What are we doing?
Oh, I thought let's find out about just comic books and what are your favorites or ones that really changed or influenced you. Show it off, tell about it, and this is grade school. It's show and tell. So what do you got?
Well, first off, I've got the House comic book.
Okay.
Do you know what that is?
Oh, from the TV show?
No. When we were kids, we didn't have any comic books. What we did have was just this book, and here it is right here. It's a book.
Oh,
and
okay.
Look how beaten up and red it is. And so
Yeah.
this is like, you know, a book that you would buy in a bookstore. And I think it's just 3 or 4 comics collated into flying out. You know, I guess they're 60s or 70s collated into one page. This is my first introduction to Marvel. And who have you gotten it? It's got the Hulk, it's got the Fantastic Four. Look at this page. I love this. I think I tried to draw this once.
It looks like a brain. Jeez, everybody's in there.
Yeah, it was owned by Matthew G, whoever that is. We probably got this at, you know, the school or the library, you know, book sale or something.
Yeah,
but I decided no, this bad boy is mine. I don't know if you can see that there.
You had good
handwriting
as a kid.
This is my first ever comic experience with superheroes, and we've still got it. I don't know if they do this. I mean, obviously they've still got, you know, graphic novels and stuff around, but I have good memories of this book. I read it a lot, you can tell.
Yeah, it looks loved.
It is. It's still loved, and I tried to get Victoria to read it a couple of times, but no dice. Maybe Clark will appreciate it a little bit more.
So that's the House comic book.
That's it's the one that belongs to the House, even though I wrote my name on it afterwards. I took it when I got big into comics. I'm like, I'm taking this. This bad boy's mine.
Right.
Hey, Lama Gigante says, I was told there'd be crotch shots. Well, have we got a surprise for you? Saddle up, Lama Gigante.
You promise so much.
I do. What pajamas are you wearing tonight, Blue?
Oh, me? I have the tape on the camera. Just a moment. There we go. I have a button. No, I am just wearing the workout shorts.
So there it is.
These are like my nicest workout shorts, which I tend to put on for the show because if you saw, I don't want to accidentally show off like the crappy shorts I often wear. So
yeah. Of course.
By the way, if you want more and better crotch shots, check out Misfit Corner Comics. When he turns on his overhead cam, because he's got more than one camera, they rip into him for that. It's the belly cam or whatever. But anyway, we're here tonight right now. So crotch shot number 1 out of the way. All right. So when I first got
I hope you guys took a screen grab of that.
A little redo.
All right. Oh, okay. I don't want to get struck.
I feel like a whore. All right. So anyway, when I was a kid, I remember there were some comics in the rec room. My parents had an enclosed carport that became like the just they called it a rec room. And it was just in the shelf of weird leftover things. And there were some comics in there, but I think my first was actually a certain issue of Spider-Man. I had several of them that my mom might get at the grocery store. Of course, because that's where comics really were. And it was no lap hijabs on the stream. No problem. Wait, hijabs? What? All right, moving on.
Lap hijabs.
I'm going to move on with it.
You're covering your lap with a cloth.
Oh, no, the cloth is for the table. So,
sorry. I'll keep interrupting you.
Sure.
Jason Black, back in the house.
Hey.
Great to see you again, buddy. Yeah, you've been gone a long time.
He might need sleep. Yes. Oh, anyway, if there was a TV show on public television in the States called The Electric Company, it was usually on right after Sesame Street. And they had a Spider-Man segment like every other episode or whatnot. So there was a Spider-Man comic that got put out with the Electric Company branding on it. And so for being a little kid, like 5 years old, it was actually perfect. So that was my introduction to comics.
Cool. What have you got to show us?
Oh, what do you want first? Horror or not horror?
I don't know. Ask the chat. Horror or not horror?
I was asking the chat.
First person to write anything in there related to that.
Actually, you know what? I have so much horror, it's almost a moot point.
Oh damn! I don't even have YouTube up, so it takes forever for comments to come in. So we could just sit here and wait. Okay, more horror. There you go.
Alrighty. I believe my first comics were Aliens and Predators, but it was a year into college when I met a girl who got me into The Crow. I hope my keyboard's right there under the cloth, so I hope I don't hit anything. These are not my original copies that I owned. These are replacements because I sold off everything that I owned at one point because I was in a pretty bad circumstance. If we can combine these, that's great.
Even better. And now we just get to soak it in the whole time.
Yeah. So this is not a signature I got, but I did get to meet James O'Barr, and he signed everything. One thing that happened as I shared these around with friends is it's just a straight piece of paper I'm reusing for printer paper. My friends would do the thing where they held the book by the covers, and like on the front cover, they did, make it smile. Come on. They did this thing. There we go. Where it puts a crease right there. And when you look at the cover, which would be this side, you can totally see like the white where they broke the cover. So I had to go out and get other copies of this. And that's what that was my introduction to having the good copy and the reader copy. And then when I met Mr. O'Barr, I had him sign everything, which was great. So this was my introduction to and I loved Mr. O'Barr's work. So I started like tracking down everything he did on Caliber Presents. I even had the original appearance of The Crow and stuff like that. Things. The problem with selling them off was they were actually part of me. It wasn't.
How old were you when all this was happening?
17, 18, 19, right in there. So by the time 94 came around, I was 20, and this was my clue right there when I met Mr. O'Barr. Oh, hey, we listen to the same bands. Your characters wear the T-shirts of the bands I listen to. It was awesome. But where's volume 1? That's this one. This book shocked me because at some point, well, first, this introduced me to Joy Division, which was, pretty intense. And I'm going to flip through it. I don't want to stop on it. But one of the guys he kills did not make it into the film. He cuts him off at the shins and talks to him while he bleeds out on the floor. And that just chilled me. That's actually the scene. That chilled me, when I first read it. I was like, oh. It was a lot more than I could handle. But, this was... Yeah,
that was a little bit different to the Hulk smashing.
Oh, yeah. Now, I got into this at the same time as Animal Man. Was it Animal Man, Sandman, and X-Men and a couple other things. So, but yeah, this is The Crow, and I could go on with more of what it meant to me, but I blathered long enough. What do you got?
People ask you sometimes, what's the first comic book you ever read? And I mean, an actual floppy comic book. Well, I can say it's this one right here.
No way.
This is the first comic I ever bought and read.
Is it the exact one or a replacement like my
No,
stuff?
it's the exact one.
Cool.
My friends were into it, and so I'm like, all right, I'll go down to the news agency, as we call them. Do you have news agencies?
You mean like we might call it a newspaper stand, but not really.
Yeah, so imagine a newspaper stand, but it's a shop.
Yeah.
And you've got, the kind of thing that you would find at an airport. There's, back in the day, there'd be aisles and aisles of different kinds of magazines and newspapers, and there was a comic book section. So I went and I picked up the coolest thing I could find, which is this. And you can check out the sort of how red it's been, by the spine there.
Oh, yeah.
And how much is this bad boy? I Oh, it doesn't say because it's in US dollars. But I seem to remember they used to cost about $1.30 Australian.
Mm-hmm.
I think I even traced this once and drew this. But this is Bagley, I think. Oh, no. Chris Marinan. And written by Kurt. How do you pronounce that guy's name? Busiek?
Yeah,
Busiek?
Busiek. I think it might be a little Busiak or something like that.
Yeah. And it's got an ad in there for a Ninja Turtles game.
Huh.
It's got an ad on the back for the Hook movie.
That takes us back.
Look what they used to have. You could buy Marvel merch. It wasn't just cooking shows.
Is that actual shirts or iron-ons or?
They are. No, I think they're actual shirts. They're actual shirts.
I remember when.
This is so when so obviously you already saw that book that I had. So when I went down to get an actual comic, and I was 11 years old when this came out. This is what they looked like. So this is newsprint, and this is the coloring. This is what it all looked like. This is pre-digital.
That's newsprint, and look how pretty those colors are on there.
Yeah, and this has been through hell. My dad got drunk once and wrecked this book. Just like spilling stuff on it and all kinds of stuff. But yeah, they look good, don't they? I love God. Oh my God, I could just smell this all night. Look at that.
Everybody buy something from Alterna just to sniff it. Seriously.
Can you see that? I don't know if you can make it out.
What am I looking for? The bullpen?
That's the Stan Lee's bullpen.
Yeah.
So that was still happening. And then, oh God, I remember this. Name of the Rose came up. That was the following
story arc.
Following arc. Yeah, I think it was like six-parter.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, I've still got that, and I went back and because I've got the entire web run, I went back and got a collector's copy afterwards. So
Good.
That's my actual. So when everyone asks, "What's your first comic book?" I can just pull it out.
Blue Sea Act. Oh, okay, yeah.
Sea
Skip
Act.
Edwards' art says that Hook was a great movie. Yeah, my father loved that movie and actually got it on Laserdisc because he had a Laserdisc player at the time. He became a bit of a tech head once we were out of school. I didn't grow up with a VCR or anything, and then, once I got through high school, suddenly Dad had toys. So.
Hook is a nice movie. I showed it to my kids a couple of months ago, I think.
Mm-hmm. So, if we're ping-ponging, I can bring up something.
I think
nice.
we should.
Yeah. Okay. Actually, I should later, before we close, I'll tell a little bit of an anecdote about Mr. O'Barr, but I'm going to go not horror for a moment. Okay. I'm also going to go very, very recent. So this is from the Rebirth run on Superman, and I want to point out issue 7. Now, I like something if I get both covers.
I'm not a DC guy, so can you give me dates?
Sure.
I don't know when this happened.
Okay, so this would be from mid 2016 onward, and they were coming out twice a month, I believe.
Okay.
So it was every other week, Action Superman, like that. But this is just a run within Superman. And so this Rebirth era went from the end of the New 52 for a couple of years. Superman itself hit 45 issues, and then they tied off some loose ends with the special. Why I'm pointing this out is these two make a story, and it's a really good father and son tale that they tied up in the special here. Notice, by the way, I got my special signed. There's Scott Godleski right there. Yeah, so he is a nice guy. And I actually got to mention to him that I wasn't hip on the SJW issues, and he was actually pretty cool with it, where he understood I didn't tokenize people. So, and it wasn't an argument either. I was just kind of on the side, sort of whispering out of the corner of my mouth, like, "No, I'm not cool with that other stuff." Because of
so you're not friends with the woke and the racist guys.
Yeah, and
even though they did look very chummy.
Yeah, and Godleski was actually really open to that. He's like, "Oh, I understand. Okay." So he's a nice guy. I know that much. Anyway, these make a good story arc. It's a lot of father and son stuff that I think we really need in comics and stuff for kids, if you know what I mean. This is a separate issue. So we got 7, 8, and 9 here. And I really got a kick out of this because it's Lois wants family time. Now, during this run of Action and Superman was more the family stuff, and Action was more the beat 'em up. But there were, I mean, it beat 'em up in both, but still. So he's finishing stuff. They're going to go do something. She has a no capes rule. They go to an amusement park. And things happen. Yeah, no capes for the day. So things happen that they have to. Oh, sorry, not amusement park, county fair. Things happen for the day, and he has to take care of them. And I'm going to spoiler this, but you really should read it anyway. After he gets through dealing with some things, whatever they are, he actually found a cape to use to disguise himself. But this last page is absolutely last two pages are beautiful. The way it's drawn, we got facial expressions going on, the announcements that are leaking over the PA system down here, and as you read them, it changes the conversation for what's going on, where Lois starts to figure out that Clark had sneaked off and done something heroic, during No Capes Day at the amusement park, and Jonathan here in the middle is just clueless the whole way up. And they're riding a roller coaster up before they go over. And then finally, when it comes out what was said, actually they're saying, who was it? Oh, somebody came in and rescued us. Oh, was it Batman? And that's the he gets a look on his face like, Batman? What? No, it's here it is. There's Batman. But then when they tip over the top, and he, his whole scheme has been exposed, she yells at him, "I knew it!" And my mother says that to my dad all the time. When fathers are sneaking something, that's really okay because they, you can't stop what you're doing all the time. And then, my dad sneaks a snack out of the fridge or something, and my mom discovers it. She's like, "Aha! I knew it!" And so this was just a really good, wholesome family example that I think kids need to see. Healthy family relationships, working through differences and whatnot. So there's that.
Especially now. I saw a little bit off topic. I saw a really good documentary called Uncle Tom, made by Larry Elder. I'm pretty sure his name is. Yeah. And it's all about the history of blacks in America, and they're really big on that too. On you need to have, you're gonna have a healthy community. Kids need to have that family, in their life and also on television. They talked about how when I was growing up, probably you as well. There were healthy, functioning, happy most of the time families on TV. And in movies, it was a normal thing that was there, and I couldn't agree more.
Yeah. So what do you got next?
Do you remember this?
Oh, I think so. Yeah.
This is another thing that Marvel used to do, which is just cool. This is sort of like what I guess YouTube is now. So this isn't a comic, but it's a guide to the mansion of X-Men, and oh man, I devoured this thing, and it's made in a way, and I love this. It's not like a comic book, it's like a real guide. That was really clever marketing for them to do the spiral bound. And let me find a cool page. You've got like cool sketches and stuff in there. I think this is like Jim Lee era, surely. Maybe not. But yeah, it's just you can get through. It's like all of the details. It's like having a what I imagine is kind of like a Dungeons and Dragons book, that people just read through to get all the deep lore stuff. And it's got schematics.
Gee. Oh yeah, they do that for Star Trek too. I think they put out books of this stuff.
Look at, I just love this stuff. Look at this. Look at this graph here. It's showing you what's underground and stuff.
Is that okay?
There's Cerebro.
If you want to make yourself bigger, that would help.
Okay, 1 sec. Yeah, we should do. Why am I not doing this? Past Master Dan, schemes and schematics, exactly. Yeah, so look, you can see the mansion That's how the blackbird comes out. There, I don't know how many times I read this, but this sort of stuff. Imagine, I don't know. I don't think Marvel does this kind of stuff anymore. No one cares anymore, you know. That whoever put this together, I mean, if you've got a story like the X-Men now, and you've got a campaign, like there's a lot of campaigns that are, you know, they're team books. They're trying to set up that sort of, you know, world building. To make this would not be too much money. I mean, can you imagine a stretch goal? If you've got, you know, teams with all different powers and oh, look at this. Holy crap.
Oh yeah. Foldouts are fun. Look at that.
I forgot about this. That's the war room, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's got schematics of the war room as well. Yeah, this stuff, I mean, God, the memories are flooding back to me now. Just a great thing, a great little companion that's, you know, this stuff made it all so fun and worthwhile. You go into the comic book store and see this kind of stuff, and you can take it over to your mate's house and go through it.
Or in my case, the girlfriend with Sandman. But hey, you said earlier that by the way, she is one of the 5 I should have married. Coming out of the abusive house, you know, I had girlfriends, but like getting over this weird hump, and this is totally looking back on it. I didn't think this at the time. I didn't realize what was going on at the time, but I couldn't get over this weird hump of vulnerability because, you know, that's just too dangerous for whatever reasons. I'm not explaining everything. And it's like this woman who got me into comics again, you know, from the few I had as a 5 or 7 year old, I should have married her. I really should have.
The one that got away?
The one of several that got away. So,
hey, some of our favorite people here. Did you know?
Boogie Bots. Hello.
Zaid is here. Phil. I should say Zaid Comics. Phil's here.
Uh-huh.
Jim Cox is here. Artsy Bear.
Whoa.
Definitely one of our favorite men. He says, thanks for sharing your comic book phase. Yeah. I just picked up a bunch of stuff that's sort of like pivotal in my history, and I guess it's the same with Blue here. So yeah, I'm having fun showing off this stuff.
Yeah. Now you showed off a Spider-Man earlier, and said you used to trace it and whatnot. Is that what whet your taste for everything that led you on the path you're on now?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, I started drawing the Turtles, and I think I went pretty much. Oh no, there was a moment. There was wrestling in between Turtles, so I went from Turtles. I was obsessed. I was drawing them. Then I went into WWF wrestling. I didn't do much drawing with that, but when I got into comics, man, yeah. First, I started with tracing. I traced so much stuff. Here it is, this sort of stuff, and then I got into drawing, and you can tell by how good the anatomy is. So that probably is a drawing. Like a reference drawing off that would be a Bagley, surely.
Okay.
Yeah, see, that would be traced. There you go. That would definitely be traced.
Okay.
But yeah, you can tell. I can tell. Like if all the you know, the proportions are off, then yeah, that would just be me doing reference. But yeah, definitely, you know, I totally advocate that. Like just tracing people's stuff when you're a kid. And just getting in that muscle memory and just the fun of it, and having a cool piece that you can put up on your wall that, you know.
Yeah, and it's a good start. You get used to how to make curves and whatnot.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got Metal Movies and Brewskis, says Ale Blue Samurai Zero. Thank you. Good to see you too. Indigenous Monstrosity. Hail Doomsday Kingdom Army. Hello again. Okay, so does the chat want to hear a tiny piece of my James O'Barr story? And I have it in mind first, so it's not going to be all like forgetting where I am. Or do you want to just look at another book that's different? Because I'll pull out a book.
Well, let's look at another book. I think let's keep what we're doing going. People seem to be enjoying it. So.
What do I bring next? All right, this will be. All right, so right around that time,
I'm going to make you big now. So.
Yeah. Animal Man came out. This was, and I had to do like back issues to get into Animal Man because I wasn't there right away. But this is one of the ones, and I finally found it. It was, I remember it was a crisis at the time that this was like $5, you know, for a comic. So I finally got to start over Animal Man, and this is when what's his name? Not Pete Milligan, Grant Morrison was writing. So this book in particular, I was like, why is this book so important and whatnot? The story got through. Let's just say, if you're going to subvert expectations, I'm going to tilt that down a little bit. There you go. Nobody get nauseated. Less crotch. There we go.
Okay.
I don't want people
We
getting
did
nauseated.
promise crotch.
There we go. So I'm wearing black. Yeah. But if you're going to subvert expectations like people talk about, this story was a good way to do it. And so without going into, Animal Man is attached to something where he has powers that he could, God, look at the old ads, that he could feel through animals or take some characteristic of animals and use them. And so he gets out there, and it's kind of a Roadrunner and Coyote thing going on that isn't made clear the whole time. And then we get into the story of this coyote. The title of the story here is Coyote Gospel. And it does refer back to, so whatever situation they're in, Animal Man comes up, reads the coyote's message that he's been carrying around his neck, right there, around his neck. And we get through that story. And then at the end, it's just a gut punch. The coyote dies. Sorry. The gut punch is Animal Man, after we read through this story, which refers to Prometheus as well, I can't read it. There's no communication. So there's this huge, intense thing building up that fails in the end. And then the regular tale continues. If you're going to subvert an expectation, Grant Morrison did it correctly, where the other stuff we got going nowadays doesn't do it correctly.
It's more just called piss off your audience.
This was just a huge change in how I read stories. When I finally got it and was able to read it, I was like, oh, wow, this is just so different for me. You're just so different. And so for me, it was like, I got to learn how to read better, better.
A mind expander for you.
Yes, sir.
This issue was inspired by the Roadrunner cartoon. Mo Biggs is complaining that we've only been shown one mild to moderate crotch shot. Well, I could show you mine, but I don't know if that's what the people want.
It's the bait and tackle stream. Yeah. Yeah,
it's definitely what do they call it? In titles you make it clickbait. Oh, I'm totally blanking. Clickbait. Yeah, that's the one. So I was a massive Spider-Man guy. Obviously it was the first one that I read, and I started collecting back issues, pretty much anything I could afford. And this was sort of pre-internet, so I would get a newspaper which is called the any Aussies is left in the chat, was called, oh no, I can't remember it now, but it's basically just you send in whatever you want to sell. It was like eBay before eBay. And they'll print it, and there was a comic section, and I remember one time finding the complete run 1 to 90 of Web of Spider-Man in there, and it was only 2-hour drive away, and I somehow convinced my mum to get it for my birthday. But I found an issue, like a floppy issue of this run here, which was a Hobgoblin run, and it's the origin of Hobgoblin. What issues were they? So it's anyway, the writers are Stern, Mantlo, and DeFalco, and it was from Amazing Spider-Man 238 to 251. Various ones in between. So I grabbed a floppy of one of these, and I was like, oh my god, I've got to get the rest, but I couldn't afford. Some of these issues are like, because they're key issues being that they're first appearance. But man, so I went and I got this instead, and I have since actually collected all the floppies, but this is probably something that I've read 10 times. I love this story. I love this character. I'm always annoyed that they keep rebooting the Green Goblin, who I always thought was, he wasn't as cool as the Hobgoblin. It's a bit, it's the Hobgoblin and the Green Goblin are a bit like a test run for Venom and Carnage. In that, the Hobgoblin was sort of, the one that was like, he's going to be the real villain.
Mm-hmm.
There he is. There, hang on. He was always the one who was much more insane and willing to, take things to the limit and really push Spider-Man, to the edge. So yeah, this is another trade that's very well read.
Yeah.
So this is probably another one of the things that I've probably read the most of anything.
What was the name of that arc?
I don't think it's all part of one arc.
Okay.
I think it just occurred over, so 238 to 251. There's gaps in between. It's all like the hatred of Hobgoblin. Now strikes the Hobgoblin, Confessions.
All right, so
you probably recognize some of this art if you're a Spider-Man fan. There's the cover there. I think this one is maybe the first appearance of Hobgoblin, which I've got as well. Perth Comics saying, Green Goblin, totally overused. I mean, get the Hobgoblin in there, because people know who the Green Goblin is by now. You don't need to see him again. So just say he can essentially be like Carnage is to Venom, a copycat who's going to he's going to say like Green Goblin did not go far enough. Exactly right. Hobgoblin was nasty. He had he didn't pull any punches. Love that series.
Nice. Okay, so you said you went back and you've read that one before, repeatedly, and there've been a few others. What is it? What kinds of things draw you back to reread a story more than like twice?
Well, with the Spider-Man stories, definitely it's when he is pushed to, absolute inhuman limits, and you really get the feeling like it's almost impossible for him to get out of. The other story that's similar to that is Kraven's Last Hunt. Which is another one where, because Spider-Man is so obnoxious and somehow always seems to win, often sometimes through luck as well, is that his villains really despise him because he mocks them, and some of them are, like was mentioned earlier, really vindictive and nasty, and they will go to lengths to kind of torture him mentally and physically. And I think with that book, with the last book that I'm going to show, and also with the Kraven as well, it's all villains who have really, beaten him down to, a nanometer of his life, and he's somehow found the fortitude and will to come back from there.
Cool.
Mo Big says, Kraven's Last Hunt inspired my plan to strengthen Michael's resolve and increase his fan base. Albino says, Kraven's Last Hunt, favorite Spider-Man story, all-time classic. Yeah, I've got the floppies of that, but I didn't quite have time to go into, so I don't have a trade of that, but I didn't have time to go hunt through my cupboard and pull them out. So absolutely fantastic, probably my favorite as well. When I first read that as a kid, so I would have been 13, 14, and when I say read it as a kid, I'm reading back issues at that point.
As a kid,
just blown away.
Oh, now a while ago, Albino Thunderbones, by the way, good to see you, man. Thanks for being here. He says Speedball was his all-time favorite C-list character. And yes, I remember Speedball, and it's just escaping me. Like, he was in the New Warriors, wasn't he? Was he?
I'm not super familiar with Speedball.
I'm asking the chat.
Okay,
So I'm having this brain cramp right now where it's like, I loved Speedball, but not enough to remember which book I read him in. Oh, that's tough. Okay, I'm gonna show something else. I think I'll save this for last because I think you and I have enough time for one, then you again, then this. Let's see. So artistically, I probably grabbed the wrong ones. Yeah, I did. I should have brought a better example. So when I first got into, again, that one with that one girlfriend, Sandman, turn things around. This was the issue that came out right then, was Game of You by Sandman. And so I was like, well, this is weird because all the cover art's down here, you know? So that wasn't what I was used to. And then I had to, to run some back issue grabs. But the thing I noticed, like this, you're not going to see it here because I still have a light on, but it's not dark enough in here. This is actually phosphorescent paint on here. A lot of these replacements I have are crappy condition. Nothing is as good as it was when I sold it off, but this one is actually in really nice condition. Dave McKeon's art on the covers, instead of going into Sandman stuff, I'll just talk about this. It really opened my eyes to things that were, don't struggle. I'll read that later. It really opened my eyes to what could be done in artwork, and I've brought the wrong examples out, except for this one might be a good example since he included a real photograph in here. McKeon did a lot of stuff that I just like. Brian Boland, different from Brian Boland, for example. This is a beautiful cover because Brian Boland's such a good artist, but then Dave McKean, I'm sorry, I say it wrongly. He would put multimedia things together and then photograph them for these covers. So it would just like, it would be, the mixed media would be so great. I just couldn't believe that was.
I read this
cover,
after it came out. Yeah, I read this after it came out. Remind me, this is early 90s, is it? Or is it late 80s? What is
I believe it started in December of 88.
Okay. Yeah, it's so of the time, this mixed media thing. In terms of graphic design, not in terms of comic books, in terms of graphic design at that time.
So McKean opened my eyes to expanding in my own artwork, which I've never finished, or that things don't have to be a certain way. Nothing against Mr. Boland, and I really appreciate just what he did by just doing his job. And it opened my eyes. Like you said, another mind expander, and he's also doing stuff like this.
Yeah, so. Yeah. Whatever is gonna give you an idea of what's actually in the book, because anyone who's read Sandman, those covers, they do. It just sort of sells that idea of what you're going to get when you read this story. It's not going to be your normal experience, let's say, with superhero comics and all that sort of stuff. Albino says, mixed media was the new edgy thing in the mid to late 80s. Yeah, totally. Back Hal Salad. Well, don't. You're the one who has to live with mistakes, not me. Absolutely. Hal Salad, Camel Moon, he said earlier that he hasn't got a sale today, and that's a travesty. He needs to get at least a sale a day. I mean, ideally at least 5 a day would be fantastic, but he's got some great perks on his campaign, so make sure you don't miss out on that one. Well, Sandman, are they still going ahead with the Sandman Netflix show? Does anyone know? I'm worried about that because, and I think a lot of us have very fond memories of, or even still, if you've reread it recently, of that series. Yeah. And I'm just very worried about what current day Hollywood or wherever Netflix is made will do to it. Lara Sharecroft.
She's here.
Hello.
And she brought Poland with her.
My friend.
Poland, what's up?
What's going on, boys?
We're just reminiscing, talking about some of our favorite books. We've got the sexiest chat in Comicsgate here, and they're joining us on our little trip down memory lane.
A lot of people showed up for a chance to see Blue's crotch. I'm impressed.
I know. We're gonna have to do this a bit more regularly, so the people who miss out can come back and experience it again.
I know they're going to be deprived.
I'm not going to say it's the sexiest crotch in Comicsgate. There's probably other.
When Blue was asking me earlier in DMs about my camera, I was wondering what type of stream it was going to be tonight.
That's right. He did say that, didn't he? Yeah, albino. God, can you imagine? I mean, why do they want to make me not care about all this amazing art? Why do they want to do that? Speaking of amazing art, next book. This is my final book. Hello. So, story. First little story. I think I've told this a couple of times. It's going to be very quick. I was in a news agency. I was 12, 13 years old. I came across a comic book on the shelf. Never heard of it. Never seen it. Didn't know who the artist or writer was. And I just was jaw on the floor. I ran back home. It took me, 15 minutes of straight running. I begged my mother for whatever it was, $2 for the cover price. I ran back. I picked it up. It was issue number 2 of Spawn by Todd McFarlane. I'm glad I picked it up because they ended up taking the books off newsstands after a big controversy because of anyone who's read Spawn 2 knows what's in that issue. And just the violence and everything like that, and I was introduced to a man named Todd McFarlane, and so I went to my comic book store eventually, and I picked up this, which is a trade of Spider-Man versus Venom, and how do you say this guy's name? Michelini, David Michelini.
I'm not sure.
He's the writer, and Todd McFarlane is the artist. I've actually since gone back and bought all these floppies as well. But my goodness, I'd never, because when did this come out? Sorry, the actual floppies, they came out in '88. So this is before my time, a few years, maybe. What's that? 4 years, 3 years before my time. I'd never seen Spider-Man drawn like this. I'd never seen art like this. And what a amazing story the introduction of Venom was, and just oh my goodness. I can't. And the reason why I picked these books is because these are the things that I've read the most. Remember when Spider-Man, when Peter was an adult male who was built and he had a hot wife, and they used to get down every night after he'd go out and he'd beat up the bad guys. And surely there's look at Eddie Brock.
Oof.
Oh.
And look, he's leaving poor Mary Jane. Look at her. Where is she? How can I do this? Hang on. No, I can't find it. It's too hard. I can't do this with the camera. But there we go.
You need a crotch shot camera.
Hang on. I'm going to go full screen for this. You boys.
Yeah.
This is
the
crotch shot you've been waiting for.
There we are. And we're struck. No.
Yeah, that is how I, remember Peter Parker and Mary Jane. Just a great book. Obviously, this is the whole story of the real story of Eddie and Peter and the symbiote and the suit. And look at Todd McFarlane's thing. That didn't stick, did it? The thing
did not.
Yeah, that's the thing about McFarlane, I guess, isn't it? He's just kind of throwing whatever, just what was his philosophy? Just draw cool stuff. Check that out.
Yes.
Look at that page.
How does he inhale when he's all folded up like that?
Where are his organs, Blue?
I don't know.
Just remember he said he wanted to draw him more like a spider.
Yeah, he did. He nailed it.
Can you imagine anything more spider-like than that? So, yeah, that as well. Another trade. I'm going to show you the edges. Look at that. That bad boy has been read and reread. So fantastic collection there. I think about issue 300. I got the one with all the 300s. They've replicated 100 times. I've got that in near mint condition. Like, it's not slabbed or anything, but it would be a 9 point and something high, and that's one of the prizes of my collection.
I World Order saying something here. Sorry, Poland.
Michael, that thing was powered up version. He looked like a pineapple. Yeah.
I don't know how well my
Okay,
camera is going
yeah.
to work for this, but I'm going to try it.
Oh, don't dox yourself.
Hey.
Hello, we have a special late edition. We're going to have to be quick because we've only got a few minutes left, but show us what you got.
So everyone knows, I think, that I own some Tomb Raider comics, so I decided not to show those off. But this is some of the Witchblade stuff. Here, let me pick up this camera.
Oh, don't dox yourself.
Oh, no.
You know, remember that documentary where they found out who a guy was from his vacuum cleaner and stuff in the
That's so
background?
strange. That's hilarious. Yeah, so this is Michael Turner's famous work that a lot of people fell in love with early. This is on the first books he did. And as you guys have been discussing, people in here are drawn in ways that you don't see very often anymore. Let's see if I can see here.
You can be showing some of that.
There's Sarah. Oh, do you want? I'll have to see.
Oh, there's some.
Smooth.
Very smooth.
This is very Sylvester, very 90s, this whole thing. So this you don't see hardly at all. I mean, what did you see there, Michael?
I saw two ladies arched back in. Oh, there's some down there too. He'd like that position. Look at that.
Yeah.
He was fond of that dynamic.
Are you a fan of this?
I'm a fan of the art. I've never read Witchblade, but Jason Black is all about it.
There you go. Is that enough
James
muscle man?
Dean Anderson's here.
Oh.
Muscly, misogynistic, toxic males.
Very toxic.
Hot women.
Not allowed.
None of this is allowed. Probably even had white people who were heroic. I mean,
probably.
Ooh,
there you go, Bancroft.
She's barely in uniform.
Barely. She's just about
depends on the uniform.
Who's the Witchblade artist in CG now? I'm not all that familiar with Witchblade, so.
Witchblade artist in CG?
Yeah.
I forget.
Jason Black says, read it.
Yeah, it's great. I don't know about Witchblade artist in CG. I know that Frege was good friends with Turner when he was living. So, unfortunately, he departed this earth a little early.
Far too early.
Yes. So they have that one. And then real quick, I have these that I got for $5 each not that long ago.
Oh, another crotch shot. Oh, did you see that?
I saw knee.
Did you get knee and crotch?
I got knee. I don't know what everybody else got.
Oh, damn.
Okay.
That was definitely, and we was getting up there.
And this is not mainly, I got this mainly because of this guy right here, Dan Abnett. I ran a bunch of his Warhammer books growing up, and as someone knew the comic books, I was looking for people that I recognized. So the art in here changes quite a bit because this ran for a very long time. And it's actually the one of two trades that they did for the Guardians, but the Guardians of the Galaxy, how they're defined in the movies, they really were defined here by Abnett. And this came out in 2011, I think, originally. But this was actually a pretty good run. And for someone who doesn't really know much about the Galactic Marvel universe and all this other stuff, it was still a really enjoyable read, just following along with the Guardians. And like I said, this is one of two, and I got it for $5. It was a steal. Always
check out
a bargain store.
Check out the highlighted comment there, Poland.
Yeah. Exactly.
All right, we're going to finish up on Blue Samurai. What do you got for us?
Good. Hopefully this will be nice and quick. This was, and I thought, for all the horror we started with, I should look at something a little bit more wholesome. This was a web comic. It's ended, but it's still out there on the web as far as I know, by Pity Yindi. I believe that's his name, or how you say his name. And it's called Waffle. In fact, I have downloaded artwork from him that I use for my
Is that a
avatar.
real string on the spine there?
No, it is not. It's just printed
That's
there.
printed.
So
Oh,
he's a
that's
wolf.
realistic.
He's just trying to make his way in the world. Actually, I kind of associate with the character for being, just trying to do his best and running into odd situations. There's a cast of characters, and there are 3 volumes of this. And then he said, "Okay, I'm done." But if you just need a break from your day, like here's a simple comic: the chickens are waking up and they drink stuff because it's Easter, and they pop out Easter eggs. Why did I say poop? Sorry about that. Just little simple wholesome stuff to take off the edge from all the crap of the day. It's still out there, and I was just really taken.
Is this a strip comic?
It's a strip comic. Yeah.
Yeah.
So look it up on the web.
Is that famous? It looks familiar.
Yeah, it was international. This came from Indonesia.
Okay. All right.
There are 3 volumes. I'm just showing the one. That's all.
All right. God, they catch their margins. Oh no, have we?
Mean.
Oh no, we failed. We failed Camel Moon. Oh no, he hasn't gotten a backer in 24 hours. We're gonna have to get him back on and try and give him another one of those Bancroft bumps.
Get the syringe. He needs a hit.
He needs it.
You showing off there some wizard? Of course, you've got a Tomb Raider magazine.
Of course.
Oh. Wizard.
That was really fun. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, but I think I forgot to say the name, so I say look it up online. Wuffle, WUFFLE.
Say the name.
There. Now you can look it up online and go have a wholesome moment in your day.
Look up those old
Perth
Witchblade
Comics
trades.
is going to track down Waffle.
Yeah, there were some.
Yeah, Perth, check it out.
Well, it's that time of the night again, or day for me. I've got to go back to work. I still got stuff left doing. This has been great. I've enjoyed this. I haven't pulled those things out in a while, and now I think I might actually be time to have another read of some of those things. Now that I've got them out.
If we need to do this again and the chat is amicable to it, I got more. I got stuff I can.
Yeah, if you guys like this, we could do this, semi-regularly. I don't know, maybe once a month or something or whatever. Or even if it's more popular, more often than that, and we could get other people on to show their favorite books and sort of what got them into comics, because I didn't know how interesting that would be, and this hour's just flown by for me. So we could get Artsy Bear in here. Imagine that, seeing his favorite books. How cool would that be? Because we know Artsy Bear now, guys. We have that kind of pull.
We've finagled our way into a circle. So.
I think one more show I could show off pretty much most of what I have.
Yeah, but we love that about you, Poland, because you're the success story. You're the guy who's come into Comicsgate through YouTube. We can absolutely do European stuff. There's a lot of people who have a lot of stuff to show, and I'm one of them.
I appreciate it, Michael.
I'm getting really nervous when people say do European stuff. So.
Antoine dropped that comment just for Michael. He wanted to get that tingle up his leg.
Scotsman, we would love to do it with you. Apparently, Art has a great collection. Albino, you look like you have one too, my friend. We'll definitely. It sounds like we'll definitely do this again because we had a good chat happening. Good stuff. But I have really got to go. So thank you to Blue and Lara Sharecroft for joining me today. As I said, great stuff. But I mean, look at everyone in this chat, all these different people. This is fantastic. Thank you so much to everyone who's come. Howl that chat. Here we're getting howls right back at us. And the Lucent as well. I probably should mention that. I think we're up to like 531 or 32 backers. So it's still going. People are still buying it. I'm having a lot of fun working on it right now, just trying to, pump out pages as fast as I can. The more I do, the closer we get to the finish line and get to print, and that's going to be so exciting. And what else? If you're not subscribed, I see a lot of new faces in here. Well, I don't know if they're new, but if you haven't subscribed, do that and hit the like button. Look, I'm so professional now.
Thank you,
Very
everybody, for
professional.
sticking around. We appreciate it.
Yeah. And Mo Biggs, love you, buddy. All right, guys. We will see you tomorrow.